All right, guys, welcome back to AIM Sports,
Mm-hmm.
Week 7, Episode 1, coming off a good Sunday football that we had. First of all, I just want to shout out all our listeners from the United States, from Canada, and everywhere around the world.
Yes, sir.
We've been doing this podcast for what, 7 weeks now?
In
Uh,
football, yeah.
in
New season.
football, yeah, 7 weeks of football. This has been really interesting. It's been a lot of fun. You guys have been keeping up with us. We just wanted to shout you out and thank you for listening to us.
Appreciate y'all.
Yes, and so let's get it started into our show. So going into our records from Sunday Night Football, me and Irshad both were 6, 7, and 1 going in. We picked our 3 games that we had that we will discuss shortly, and we will let you know our updated records.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. First game, we had Arizona Green Bay. In Green Bay, Green Bay was favored -5.5.
Yep.
We took Arizona. For any of you guys that saw that game, me and Irshad both had taken Arizona +5.5, and that game was not close at all.
Jeez, that was tough.
Very tough. Kyle Murray came in. We thought he was gonna put on a show, but it was opposite from a dome team playing outdoors. Jordan Love showed why Green Bay has the best offense right now in the NFL,
Yeah.
and they could score at will at any time, any means on the field.
Yeah.
They came out, took shots, and just demolished Arizona.
And we thought that was going to be the case, but I mean, we had hoped that Kyler Murray was going to come back. That's
For
what he
sure.
did against San Francisco.
Yeah.
He went down early, thought we'd come
Yeah.
back, but just didn't end up happening.
And it's just, it was tough. Couldn't get no points. Scored 10 points in the second quarter, made it close. They were down, I think, by it was 24-10. They were down 14 points, 2 possessions at halftime. And then just Kyle Murray couldn't do anything. They got a field goal in the second half.
And that was that.
it. But that's game 1. On to game 2. This was a fun game for any of you guys that watched it. We had the Washington Commanders versus the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Spread favored, Baltimore -7.
And we knew it was going to be a shootout. High two
yeah.
first place teams, high-powered offenses.
Uh-huh.
And, it was an entertaining game to say
Yeah,
the least.
you had Lamar Jackson himself, and then you had a young Lamar Jackson and Daniels coming in. Play almost a similar style, high-powered offense. Washington just scores points.
Rush.
Rush too. Like, they just go at it. And Baltimore came in and said, hey, listen, we're the veterans here. You don't come into our house and show us how to play football or play the same style as us and are better at it.
Yeah.
But the game was +7. Washington covered the spread.
That was it.
My brother and I both picked Washington to cover the spread, which leads us to yet another push.
On
I think this is our
record.
third push in the week in a row,
Yeah.
which is kind of ridiculous.
This is crazy. Yeah, it's crazy because we've had, I think, a push. I think
Three-
two or 3 weeks in a
I
row
think 3
now.
weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, I think 2 weeks.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, the good news here is we didn't lose.
Yeah,
But
we didn't win either.
We didn't win either. But I'd much prefer to take a push over a loss. So
anytime.
money back is better than money lost.
100%.
So it's a dub, but we won an actual dub.
Yeah, this was a shootout back and forth. Baltimore came out to play. Washington came out to play. It was a high offensive game and won by 7. Derrick Henry showed why he is still Derrick Henry, king of the run. Lamar Jackson put up numbers. Mike Andrews got his first touchdown though.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's beating Kelsey right now in touchdowns.
Everybody's being Kelsey.
Like you would think, But
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good win for us,
That
or a
was
push for us. We'll take that. After that loss for the 1 o'clock slot, we needed this.
We needed that, yeah.
Which leads us to the 4 o'clock game where we had Detroit versus Dallas.
Yeah.
We had Detroit -3.5. My brother and I had a good conversation about this last episode, and my brother took Detroit, and I don't know for what reason I took Dallas, a team that couldn't even score a touchdown.
That was crazy because, I mean, exactly what happened to Arizona by Green Bay is exactly what happened to Dallas by Detroit.
They just came out and just dismantled them.
It was. I think Jared Goff was just having fun by the end of it. He was like, "Oh, this is like pickup football."
You said all the stats last week too, right? He was amazing after a bye week.
Yeah.
And long rest, he plays amazing, and that team came out to play.
Yeah.
They didn't miss a beat. They are ready, especially having Minnesota in Division 5-0. They're telling Minnesota, hey, don't forget about us.
Mm-hmm.
We're coming for you. While Dallas, on the other hand, just couldn't play football. The whole team there's no poise, there's no energy,
No.
there's no excitement in the team.
And you and I even talked about this maybe not even last week. Oh, we did talk about it last week, but the week before when Dallas played the Saints and after the loss was that Dallas still needs to find out the chemistry. I think that we had spoke about that their offensive coordinator and their head coach might be on the chopping block.
Yep.
Because I'm sure Jerry Jones is looking at this and being like, this is not it. You can't secure the bag for a franchise quarterback and barely squeak out wins.
Yeah.
And in this case, not only lose but lose to this extent. Remember, they lost to the hands of the New Orleans Saints, also in Arlington.
Yeah.
And this happened again with Detroit. This is embarrassment on another level at home.
Yes, 100%.
And there's the chemistry's gone from CD and Dak, I'd argue.
Oh, you can tell they're on the same
They're
page.
not the same right now. They're not vibing.
And I feel like Dak was playing so much better before the contract.
Yeah.
You come in, throw 0 touchdowns. You went 17 for 33, threw for 178 yards, and threw 2 interceptions. A passer rating of 42.2.
For someone of Dak's caliber, that's disgusting.
Who's the highest paid quarterback in the league?
That's nasty.
At home? Are you like that's just ridiculous?
That's tough.
Like it doesn't add up.
Yeah.
But hey, Dallas has always been, I don't know why they're called America's team, but sure.
I think that moniker needs to change because I think there are other teams, and you know what, and I do think on a complete sidebar, I think the whole America's team was due in part because of branding of Jerry Jones. He's a great marketer.
For sure.
He's brought, Arlington, everything is bigger in Texas, and he made it a big arena. He made it a big thing.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is they aren't playing like America's team.
Not at all.
They aren't. I think there are other teams that should be called America's team.
Yeah, 100%.
But it definitely isn't Dallas.
But yeah, this game was just onslaught. Detroit came out like an NFL team. Dallas came out like they were a high school team, or even like a pee-wee team, and just got dismantled.
It's crazy.
Just they have to find something next week.
They do.
They're on a bye week, so they got to focus and figure out what they got to do.
Yeah.
I don't know, say a prayer or something, but they got to find something to get back in the winning column.
Yeah.
Which that leads us to our new records. I myself am 6-8-2 with 2 pushes, so our second push in a row.
Yep.
Well, my brother, who was came back up 7-8-2.
That's it.
He's 1 game away from 500. I'm 2 games away from 500. We're gonna start off with Thursday football, and then Sunday next week we're gonna get right back to 500 because I believe we can.
I think we can.
I think so too. So that's our new current record, which now leads us to our trending bet we had.
Yes.
We had Chuba Hubbard to score anytime a touchdown at 1.95 times your unit.
Yeah.
That game was a good game, divisional game.
It was a good game. I mean, obviously, shout out to Canada. Chuba Hubbard is Canadian, so shout outs there. You picked up a lot of yardage. I mean, I think we're seeing a difference in the Carolina Panthers offense. Win or loss aside, I think they are shifting. Especially after the quarterback change. I think they're shifting their momentum. I think they're shifting the style of play, and it's yielding dividends because Chuba Hubbard picked up quite a few yards.
Yeah,
I think he might have passed the century marker on that one, but unfortunately, he did not.
He was close. He had 92.
Oh, 92 yards. Apologies. So yes, he was close to the century marker, but unfortunately, he did not get the touchdown. So we unfortunately did not hit there, but we had another play as well, which is a 3-leg parlay.
Correct, where we had Houston money line. That hit. They came out to play. They showed New England what football's about. New England had a rookie quarterback that came and started the game. He threw his first pick. He also threw for his first touchdown. He had a good game as well too. He performed as he should have. Houston was just a better team. Came out, won the game. Check mark on our point there. Our second one we had was total field goals in the Atlanta and Carolina game over 2.5.
Yep.
Where Chuba Hubbard just ran down the field and was able to allow Carolina to kick some field goals. That also hit as well too.
Yeah.
So we were 2 for 3 right there.
Yeah.
We just needed one more, which was Saquon Barkley, anytime touchdown, find the end zone.
Which would have actually made sense in any given game.
100%. But it just happened so that Brown and Devontae Smith both came back, and Jalen Hurts decided to throw the football.
Yeah, not enough ball to go around, unfortunately.
And they both scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
In that game. And it could have been Saquon at one point, could have ran it in there, but Cleveland just knew, just block out Saquon and just let Jalen Hurts throw the football. We'll lose that way.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing. Like, he had a couple of decent breaks for 10 yards, sure, but at the same time, like, he wasn't even able to pass the 50-yard moniker for the rushing yards.
Just no touchdown. Didn't get in the end zone. Had a poor game, which gave us 2 out of 3 on the parlay.
Yeah,
which that also didn't hit for us.
Unfortunately,
but it doesn't matter. Hopefully, it was in the past.
That's it. And hopefully you guys hung out with us in our game of the weeks because that's where we made our money back.
We made some money. We got a push.
Yeah.
I got a loss. And then we had another loss as well too. But you got the W there. So if we had, if you guys took Detroit, who saw what happened, because I myself am telling you here in this show, Dallas, do not touch. I am not picking them. Doesn't matter who they're facing. I'm going against them. Dallas is off the betting board. Like
now, quick question for you, just a quick wild card here, because I love those. For those who are listening and maybe have Dak on their fantasy, I throw it to you. yes or no, is it too soon to drop Dak?
You wouldn't drop him. He is high caliber. Fantasy is different. You're throwing the football, running the football, getting points.
Yeah.
No matter if your team wins or loses. I feel you should give it one more week. Well, he's on a bye week this week.
Right.
See if you can find another quarterback to replace it. If not, try to find a package deal to get somebody on the upside.
Yeah.
They have to throw the football now.
Yeah.
Dak has to. The only thing you gotta be worried about is interceptions. He threw 2 last week. It's gonna hurt you. Either you find a different player to get you those points of extra yardage and touchdowns to, even out the playing field, the interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta take that risk, or you just trade them and just find a way to get something better.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, it's something because, like you said, Dak is a big question mark right now.
He is.
I don't know where Dak really is.
I myself don't know. He's he's not in the right mind space.
Yeah.
He with CD Lamb arguing with them, and they're not on the same page.
No.
Hopefully this bye week just allows
Get
them
something
to
back together.
meet some players. Maybe let them go out, have a few drinks, go golfing, go.
Get that chemistry back.
Yeah, get that chemistry back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna happen not next week, but the week after because they're on a bye. So we'll find out for that. Speaking of fantasy that you were talking about,
Yep.
let's go over our fantasy picks that we had from on last week.
Yes.
So, as a total, we had 116 total points in our fantasy team.
Yes.
Which is really good. We passed the century mark.
We did, as we promised you guys we
Yes.
do.
And it was our what?
Third highest
Ooh.
we've ever had on a Sunday night fantasy lineup. We had our all-time high last week. This is our third highest, so it's going to show we're good at what we do.
Yeah, we're
And,
getting there. We're seeing the trend, and
we're seeing the trend. We're staying up there. We know we had a bumpy start in weeks 1 and 2, but everything's been above the century mark for the last little bit. But to get it started, we had quarterback Joe Burrow, who picked up a nice 19.8 points for us.
Yep.
Which was a solid outing by him. I think given his caliber, of course they've been wavy in terms of up and down, but I think that was a pretty solid outing.
He had that 47-yard run for the first touchdown.
That was a
That's
huge
solidified.
rush.
I never seen Joe Burrow run like that.
Yeah. He ran. For those who even had over, was it 10.5, I think might have been the rush
Rushing
yards for
yards.
him. Yeah, you guys cleared it and then some.
And then some, yeah.
But, I mean, speaking of rushing, we then have our 2 running backs.
Yes.
So we had King Henry himself.
Of course.
Easy. I mean, 25.2 points.
Yeah.
Just
he's
another day at the office.
Scoring a touchdown every game.
Every game. Just another day at the office. It's okay. And then you had Jamar Gibbs from Detroit.
Yeah.
Obviously with the blowout win there. He picked up 12.1. Didn't get a touchdown, unfortunately. But, Montgomery picked up both. But Gibbs at least was able to get some yardage for us.
And then leads us to our wide receivers. We had Mike Evans, who, should have had a good game. But then, him and Lattimore have this thing where they don't play well with each other in New Orleans. But then again, the Buccaneers defense showed up.
Yeah.
They scored that earlier scoop and, scoop fumble touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
They were just there. Rookie quarterback for New Orleans. They didn't really need Mike Evans to go score. They found other ways to score.
Yeah.
They had Godwin. It's all either Godwin or Evans. Godwin came out, got a few catches, scored a couple touchdowns. He was in it. Evans would low produce. They saved him for next week.
Yeah.
But then we also had
Yeah.
McLaurin from that game in Baltimore, which was a high scoring game.
Yeah.
And that was Daniel's favorite target. Scored a touchdown, caught a lot of passes,
He did.
broke down Baltimore's defense, 23.3 fantasy points.
Huge. That was a huge outing for a wide receiver.
Yeah, huge. Which leads us to Irshad's favorite guy for this year.
This guy is the tight end of the year, in my opinion.
Finally broke out.
Sam Laporta.
Yep.
For the Detroit game. He had, I think it was one monster reception.
Yeah,
It was 52 yards.
Yeah.
And a touchdown. That was perfect. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
It's something that we were anticipating. This is exactly the type of games that I'm expecting from Laporta.
Exactly.
And it was about time they did that. So he dropped us a nice, healthy 12.2
Yep.
points.
Which leads us to our defense.
No.
We said earlier we had rookie quarterback starting
Yeah.
for the New England Patriots. He came out to play, show what he's got. Drake May went 20 for 33, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 243 yards. But then that defense just came out and just sacked them.
Yeah, they earned their keep.
Yeah.
Like the stats may have shown that the quarterback did well, but he was sacked.
4 sacks,
Jeez.
2 interceptions, and Houston came out early, did their thing. We're up. Defense just held New England there. 14 fantasy points for us right there.
And that was huge because, I mean, after that, it was also a kicker that we otherwise had to help round us out.
Yes.
And here we had Bass.
Monday night,
Big game.
Yeah, big game. Buffalo got the win. They won by 3.
Yeah.
But missed extra point. He missed a field goal. It was windy out there in New Jersey.
He left a lot of points on the table.
He did.
I thought. But, for him to finish up with 4 points, I thought was subpar for his caliber.
The opportunity was there.
He did have opportunities. And the team trusted him.
For sure.
To do that.
So if he had, maybe scored that one field goal at the extra point, maybe our point total could have been second highest, jumped over. But hey, we can't worry about that now. It was last week.
That was it.
Focused on the new week of football, Irshad.
Week 7.
Week 7.
We are in the midst of a lot of bye weeks.
A lot of trades that happened too.
A lot of injuries.
People playing, not playing. Coaches on the verge of on the hot seat. Are you in? Are you out?
Oh, buddy. It's like what was Saleh's gone. Devontae Adams got traded.
Yeah.
Like, this is...
CeeDee Lamb, Prescott don't like each other.
They don't like each other right now.
Calvin Ridley's not happy with his, in Tennessee.
Oh.
It's just a whole bunch of things going on here. Yeah. Like, a lot. Apparently, rumor is Russell Wilson might start for the Pittsburgh Steelers this week over Fields.
I mean,
because he's healthy.
Because he's healthier. Yeah. I mean, Pittsburgh needs a bit of a change of momentum here.
But they're doing good. But hey, a lot of questions, ifs, ands, and buts that we're gonna get into and find out this week.
It's gonna be interesting, and I think we gotta lock in for that Sunday football. So make sure to tune in on Saturday.
Yes.
For Sunday's drop of our game of the weeks, our conversation. But before we get to Sunday,
we got to pass Thursday.
We gotta do Thursday.
All right, Thursday night football. We got a game coming up tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Denver Broncos.
Yes.
Sean Payton walking into a former place where he's known.
Oh, yeah.
Into New Orleans.
Yep.
This time he's going to be in the visiting locker room, not the home.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to come out Denver's favored -3.
Yes. Now, one thing we'll point out is the lines actually opened up originally.
Yes.
At New Orleans -1.
But this was when Derek Carr wanted to play, or this is before.
This is potentially, I think, when he was not doubtful,
yes,
but was potentially questionable.
So as soon as he's out, Derek Carr basically costs you 4 points.
Yep, and now it's Denver, and as it currently stands, Denver's the favorite at -3.
All right, before we get into our picks, we all know it's spooky season.
It is.
And with spooky season, there's also things that will tell you that Thursdays are not Irshad's friend.
Not at all.
They're Irshad's enemy. My brother is 0-6 on Thursdays.
I mean, this can be taken in a good way because I've been wrong.
Correctly.
I've been wrong, so right. Or I've been right, so wrong.
You've been correctly picking the wrong team.
Yes, I've been correctly picking incorrectly.
There you go. That's the one. There you go. That's it. There you go.
So I think at 0-6, I think some credit has to be due because, yes, sure. I'm 0-6, but I've picked the wrong team.
Yes.
6 times in a row.
6 times in a row.
So take it how you will, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, do you listen to our call today and pick exactly the opposite that I'm doing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or can I finally get a W today? I don't know.
I'm about to find out. I've tailed you twice, and twice I didn't get it.
Well, there you
go.
The
other 4 times I've got it. So
we split,
4
you
and
hit,
2.
That's it.
So Thursdays are kind of kind to me. Sundays are hit or miss. It's opposite for both of us.
Yes.
But let's get into it.
Do it.
Denver Broncos, New Orleans Saints. -3 Denver. This is a tough game. Denver's playing some good football here with Sean Payton.
They are.
They're playing really, really
good. He's a good coach.
He's
a good coach.
They're under the radar though. A lot of people don't talk about Denver, just because they're in the mile high and the altitude is there and no one likes it and whatnot.
Yeah.
But if you look at their defense, they're 5th best in the NFL giving up yards.
They are.
5th best.
Yep.
Who would ever thought? 5th best, and they're 3-3.
Yeah.
Came off with a slow start with Bo Nix, but Bo Nix is finding his groove. But one thing to point out, they'll be without their best cornerback. Their corner in, was it Patrick Sutton? Yeah, Pat Surtain. Pat Surtain's not playing.
He's not playing.
But if you look on the other hand, New Orleans has no wide receivers.
They don't. Olave's injured.
Shaheed's injured.
And now you're resorting to your 3rd wide receiver.
4th, 5th, and 2 tight ends.
And that's it, yeah. And a Kamara who, though is clear to play on paper, he is nursing a bit of an injury.
Oh, 100%. He has that rib injury that we said here a few weeks ago.
Yes.
One hit could make a difference and could put him out.
Yep.
You don't even have Taysom Hill coming either. He's also injured as well, too.
And Taysom Hill is Mr. Versatile. He can play anything from tight end to running back to wide receiver to quarterback.
He can be a kicker, too, by all means. He could do everything he can. But this is going to be an interesting game. I'll be honest with you. I feel like this is going to be a boring game tomorrow. Let's just get it out of the way. It's going to be a real boring game. But Thursdays is boring, but it's spooky season. Like I said earlier, with spooky season, anything is possible. Anything can happen. You have a lot of things. You have Sean Payton over here.
Yeah.
Mr. Sean Payton, who is 80, 58, and 3 against the spread on the road, which is or a neutral site.
Yeah.
And now you're going into your former home that you coached and built that team, won a Super Bowl with them, and you're going to come off for revenge. 80, 58, and 3 against the spread.
Yeah.
And that alone, with Denver this year, are 3-0 against the spread on the road this season.
I agree.
We were talking last week too, or we also mentioned, if people don't know, Sean Payton is a very good road underdog team.
He is.
His against the spread is ridiculous on there. He loves it. But this is not the case. He is a favorite. And as a favorite, he's still a good coach on the road. With New Orleans having rookie quarterback, no wide receivers, only Kamara to lean forward to. This is going to be a tough task for New Orleans to come out
Yeah.
and show what they've got. But they've lost 4 in a row.
You think it's gonna be 5?
The way it looks like it's a possibility.
Yeah.
With rookies, no film, they don't know what's going on there. They were the talk of the town, Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah.
Within week 2, week 3 hit, loss. Week 4 hit, loss, until then you lost Derek Carr. It just went downhill from week 2. It went so downhill that now they're not even favored at home.
Yeah.
With the defense that they have on paper that should be really good, they are not even favored at home. I don't understand. It doesn't, the math don't math here with me.
Yeah, the math isn't mathing.
Another stat too, rookie quarterback. On rookie quarterbacks on their first game to start the team, they're 12-22 straight up and 15-18 and 1 against the spread.
Yeah.
Now, this is not his first game. It's going to his second game.
Yep.
Second game, teams are 9-14 straight up and 13-10 against the spread, which shows that rookie quarterbacks, when they play their first game, they don't know what's kind of going on. Same
Right.
to Bo Nix.
Right.
Bo Nix didn't have the feel, the groove in it.
Sure.
Second game came in, he played a better game.
Yep.
And now he's led that team to, they have 3-3. They've only lost 1. While you have New Orleans, who's lost 4 in a row. 3 with Derek Carr and 1 with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
And so rookie teams find a way to provide their team and benefit them for them to produce and win. But now you look at it this way, there's no wide receivers for New Orleans on that side.
Yeah, who are you going to throw through? You can't keep running the ball.
Right? You don't have a full team. Now you're just relying on the rookie quarterback to do everything.
Yeah.
Before you have playmakers around. You have Olave.
You can
throw a
spread the
jump
ball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have Hill who could come in, do a little sneak, give a rookie a rest a little bit, show him off someplace, but you can't even do that.
Nope.
You just have the rookie going in and just going in.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Do you have any intake on this, Irshad? Like, something to make us make a pick?
I mean, see, that's the thing. Like, obviously, we'll start by saying, like, Thursdays haven't been nice to me. But
Mhm.
here's my take on this game. I mean, obviously, we know it's a battle of some of the younger quarterbacks.
Yes.
We know this. And to your point, Broncos being 500, 3-3,
Yeah.
they fly under the radar.
Mhm.
And I think there's a couple reasons behind that. Okay, let's start off with at the high level.
Yeah.
Their division that they're in, you have some big names in there.
For sure.
Right? You have Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You have a huge market like the LA Chargers.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you have the newly minted team with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Right? So Broncos, I mean, give credit where it's due. They're not last. Sure, they're not first. But they definitely have the chance to be. At least second.
Yeah.
Now, with Denver and New Orleans, you brought up some good points, right? So, obviously you guys know I'm a Saints fan, but when looking at, here at AIM Sports Betting, we try to take the emotion out of it,
For
right?
sure.
We have to look at it logically. So, when I look at this, there's a couple of things. First things first, Thursday home teams
Yeah.
are just 40 and 53, sorry,
Yeah.
against the spread.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, including 36 and 47 against the spread in night Thursday games.
Yes.
So right away, it's favoring the away team a little bit more.
Yes.
Okay, through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we know Bo Nix is getting the start for the Broncos.
Yep.
And we also know that though he's a rookie, this isn't game number 1 for him. Whereas for the New Orleans quarterback,
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler, it's game number 2.
Yes, correct.
Game number 1, I mean, against the Buccaneers, it got lit up.
Lit up, like.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Now, Bo Nix, though, as a starter, he is 3-0 against the spread on the road,
Yeah.
covering the spread by 11.5 points per game.
Damn. So you're saying they're gonna win by 2 touchdowns? That's what it shows.
Based on that logic and based on the statistics, yes, you cover the spread by 11.5 when it's currently 3. That's 14.5. So yes, by 2 touchdowns, and that would be technically a loss. So it's actually could be a 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah. Or a 2-point conversion.
Or a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Right? You never know.
Yeah.
Now, you have to also keep in mind is who else started 3-0 on the road this season? Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
So it's a decently big name there.
That's a big name right there.
And rookie quarterbacks start 4-0 against the spread on the road. Here are some names for you, folks. Patty Mahomes, Andy Dalton, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson.
And you got Jimmy G.
And you got Jimmy G, you got Bailey Zapp. Like, these are some, like, heavy honko quarterbacks that you have Bo Nix sharing his name beside.
And you got Dan Orlowski, who was also drafted by Denver.
Oh, yeah. And he was 7-0? 7-0 against the spread.
Highest.
Highest across all those names we just shared.
7-0 against the spread.
I mean,
on the road.
It goes to show that this team, though flying under the radar, deserves a little bit more attention.
And are a good road team, too.
And are a solid road team. They're 2-1 on the road straight up, which is great, whereas New Orleans is 1-2 at home, straight up. Now, to your point, it's hard to see a team like the New Orleans Saints go down 5 in a row. But what's harder? A team like New Orleans Saints to go down 5, or a team like the Broncos to go down 2? Because the Broncos are playing some solid football.
They are.
Right? So, you also got to look at the defense of the Broncos overall is solid.
For sure.
They're 5th in total yards, 5th in passing, top 15 in rushing, and 4th in the entire league in points allowed.
Yeah.
This is a solid defense. And yes, the offense, pound for pound, New Orleans is better.
Yes.
But it's also skewed because this is in the Derek Carr era.
Exactly.
The Derek Carr before last game's injury, the Chris Olave touchdowns, right? The Kamara come in and hot. Like, this is all skewed. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. So as much as I love the team, I don't know. Broncos, as you mentioned, Alnoor, like Sean Payton is 80, 58, and 3 on the road.
Yeah.
Like Sean Payton. He is a great coach. Of course, he had his dark time with New Orleans Saints, but it doesn't take away his actual skill in the locker room. Okay? Now, where it gets a little interesting is this game is Sean Payton's 6th night game with the Broncos, where he's 1-4 against the spread. Okay? So that's where a little interesting is. However, when we look at the mother important player,
of course,
which is the referee,
Mr. Referee, Mr. Who?
Mr. Lan Clark.
Lan Clark, ladies and gentlemen.
So, home teams are 25, 37, and 2 against the spread in Mr. Clark's career.
Yep.
Which means the home team is less likely to actually cover.
Correct.
Now, obviously, based on injury, based on what we're seeing, we talk about the floor, we talk about the ceiling, and we talk about the ref. I think, Alnoor, that I'm going with the Broncos covering
All right.
-3 tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay? Because I'll add also one more other thing before I give the mic back to you, man.
Yes.
Dennis Allen,
Yes.
the coach of the New Orleans Saints, is horrible in primetime night games.
Yes.
Okay? He is 2-9 straight up and 2-7-2 against the spread when coaching in night games. He is 1-6 straight up with the Saints. Now, on short rest, because it is a short rest week for these teams, he is 1-10 straight up in his NFL career, including 0-4 at home. At home. This is literally falling. This exact same matchup tomorrow that we're going to see is falling exactly in these parameters where we anticipate Bo Nix to not only win, but apparently cover by 2 touchdowns. We have Sean Payton having a substantially high record against the spread on the road. And then you have Dennis Allen on the opposite side of the field having a horrendous record.
Yeah.
Straight up and against the spread. So there's a lot to say with this, which is exactly why. I am going, as much as I love the Saints,
Yes.
I love you boys, but logically here at AIM Sports, my bet for Week 7 Thursday Night Football is Denver
Uh-huh.
-3.
Ooh.
And that's my pick.
All right, Denver -3. Now, you were talking about Dennis Allen, right, as a coach.
Yeah.
Now, coach, yes, is calling plays out there, doing their thing,
Of course.
everything. But sometimes it falls on the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Rookie quarterbacks can go in, they can audible the play, they can go in, make a difference.
Yeah.
It just the whole works because they can say, "Hey, coach, I'm not listening to you. I can take over the game. I'm gonna go enjoy." Plus, it's a small sample. He's only played one game. Second game, I think he'll be comfortable, and maybe he'll build the trust for the coach to allow him to call his own plays. This will be the 27th game that the backup quarterback is starting since 2013. In that very respectable manner, teams that do that are 13-13 straight up, but are 16-10 against the spread using a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
So far this season, we've had backup quarterbacks started 14 games. They're 8-6 straight up and 9-5 against the spread. Now, looking at it this way, yes, they may not win outright, but they are very comfortable with the team and are able to make plays.
Yes.
Looking at it, I think Spencer Rattler.
Rattler, yeah.
Rattler, I think he's going to come and have a good game. To be honest, this is going to be a nail biter. I think it's going to be which defense or offense breaks first.
Yeah.
I think they're going to sit there. They're going to play chess with each other. They're going to sit there and just wait, move a pawn or two, and let them decide, hey, you make the first mistake because we are not going to make that mistake for allow us to lose the game.
So, kind of what you mentioned. It'd be a very boring game.
It's going to be a boring game.
But it'll be very methodical.
100%.
And one small mistake could be the make or break on the game.
Exactly.
Which is fair.
And I feel rookie quarterback, second game, should have fun with this.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, everything, according to stats, Land Clark being at home, doesn't like home teams. He just refed the Baltimore Ravens and Washington Commanders game.
Yeah.
And that was prime example why he allowed Washington to come back, didn't like the home team.
Yeah.
They covered the spread. It was a push.
Yeah.
Now we're going to Thursday. He's off short rest too.
Yeah.
Coming in.
He is, yeah.
Denver, New Orleans. The only reason why I'm doing this here is because we want to break this curse. Is the curse real or not during spooky season? Whatever your pick is, my brother, I'm going against you. But I really and truly believe that this game here, New Orleans is going to come out and find a win for Allen, their coach. And what better way to get that win or cover the spread, even so, against former head coach Sean Payton.
And I mean, that's a bold call. And like I'll add to that because I'll give credit where it's due. Spencer Rattler, the quarterback for the rookie backup quarterback.
Yes, correct.
Backup quarterback. Actually, and mind you, he only played one game, and that too was against a pretty tough loss against the Buccaneers. So where he had no choice but to throw the ball.
Yeah.
He did average around 243 yards.
Yep.
So whether or not that's actually indicative of his true playing habits, we don't know.
We don't know.
Because he was kind of forced to throw it, so he just had to throw those.
For sure.
But Bo Nix, on paper, actually only averages 180 yards per game. So I'll give you, you're not wrong. I think it's going to be a slow game. I think it'll be a very methodical game, so I do agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a battle of the quarterbacks. Who makes the first mistake first?
Yep.
And in this case, we know defense sides with Denver. The offense, in this case as well, sides with New Orleans. However, New Orleans doesn't have those top two, man. I don't know.
For sure. It's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a tough one.
It's going to be a good game.
And the same way the Saints that you're saying, I think that, and this could go either way. I think the same way the Saints are going to come out and really, fight for their coach.
Dennis Allen?
And to be like, hey, you know what? We got you, coach, against Sean Payton.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos are going to, show up for Sean Payton too.
For sure.
Be like, yo, coach, we got you. Let's have a redemption game. So it's going to be, I think it's more of a emotional game tomorrow.
Yeah, emotional and tactical
and
games.
Tactical, right? But who's gonna drop the ball first?
We don't know.
Literally and metaphorically.
This game could even end 3-0.
It honestly could, and that's not unprecedented because 2 Thursdays ago the Denver Broncos finished 10-9 against the Giants. Or the Jets. Sorry.
10-9.
10-9.
10-9. And so
It's not unprecedented. a low scoring game like this. And
me and you were saying too, this game could end exactly in 3. No matter what the score is, it could be.
It could actually be a push. Get our first push for Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, and it could be a third one in a row for us.
Goodness,
that we're picking. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. New Orleans +3. That's what I have. I'm taking Irshad's team to cover against them only because I want to see if the curse is real.
And I'm taking Denver -3 because once again, I'm hoping this curse isn't real. But I don't know if you guys want to ride with me or if you guys are literally just picking the other team because you guys might be able to cash out. But I'm calling Denver -3 because I think Sean Payton and the Broncos are going to hold it down.
All right, there you guys go. If you're tailing, tail. If you're fading, fade. But let's watch a good game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, which leads us to the players on the field.
Yes.
Our fantasy lineup.
Yep.
Here at AIM Sports for our fantasy lineup, on Thursdays, we like to pick one player, one position, and who's going to excel the other player on the other side.
Yeah.
On which team. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. We have quarterback. You either take Bo Nix or you take Rattler.
I mean, I think we kind of went back and forth on this one. And though it would be very methodical, we feel that the risk might be a little bit less.
Yes.
Sorry, the risk will be less for Bo Nix.
Correct.
Because the defense for the Broncos are just hawks, and they might just pick up Spencer Rattler, even though he might be able to throw a few. So we're picking Bo Nix because he's less of an aerial risk.
For sure. The rookie quarterback, second game, we can't really, there's nothing to trust.
Nothing to trust,
Nothing to show for. Bo Nix has showed, hey, I can throw the football.
Yeah.
Be able to, make my players part of the team, my wide receivers, my running back,
Yep.
Produce to them. Which leads us to our second position, running back, which is going to be Bo Nix's favorite player to hand the ball off tomorrow, Javonte Williams.
Yes.
Javonte Williams having a good game. He's an up and down runner up the field. I feel 1-2 breakouts here.
Yeah.
Against Kamara. Kamara's the only player on the other side.
Yeah.
And we feel Denver is going to just pounce all over Kamara.
Yep.
Double, triple team him, box him, load him up wherever he's doing, and have Rattler come in and use his arm, and they rather get beat that way.
I agree.
Yeah, which also leads us to our wide receiver.
Which, I mean, for every
goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand. Like, you got to have Bo Nix going to have a show out game. It's going to come out to Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
I mean, of the two teams, Broncos and Sutton in this case are the only team on the field that still have their wide receiver one.
Yeah. And
I think Sutton's going to be the benefactor for this. And we're going to see that with Bo Nix's throws. Aerial slants, what have you. He's going to stretch it out a little bit. But, I think Sutton's gonna be able to capitalize there.
Yeah.
But for every wide receiver running back, there is the tight end.
Yes, tight end. This is the only starting player besides Kamara playing for the New Orleans Saints.
Yes.
Juwan Johnson.
Yes.
Who's been there since last year, too.
Yes.
Had a good few games last year, too. Playing a nice role here, too. But he's going to be the only one that's trusted from Rattler.
Yeah.
He got 3 passes last week, 3 targets. He caught all 3 of them, which means his hands are clean.
Yes.
He knows how to catch the football when needed to. He knows how to produce for his team. You're looking at the other side of Denver. Denver's going to run the ball or give it to Sutton. Or Bo Nix by running himself. We're going to take Juwan Johnson to be the better tight end of both players tomorrow. And, that's our tight end, which leads us to the better
defense.
The better defense.
I mean, on paper, I mean, this goes without saying. We obviously said that, New Orleans has, a decent, but it's on the lower end of decent.
Well, that too.
The worst yardage in the entire league for defense. Whereas, Broncos have top 5. So we're going with the Denver Broncos defense. I think overall, as a whole, the Broncos defense shows out better. They're able to hold it down.
Yeah.
They have the 4th lowest points scored. And I think that actually boasts their benefit because you have a backup rookie quarterback.
That too. And you also, Sean Payton knows New Orleans, their style of play.
They know their style of play.
So
Simple.
he can come in and see a play where he probably drew up, or maybe they try to tweak it and be like, hey, I know that play, watch film. Boom, I have a counter for that. Make some disguises, make New Orleans be scared.
Exactly.
And the only way New Orleans, we feel, is going to produce points tomorrow is by
kicking.
Because the spread's by 3.
That's it.
So we're going to have, what's his name? Groupie?
Group
come in here. New Orleans be our kicker over Denver. We feel Denver's going to, score a touchdown or 2. Yeah. I know, as Irshad was mentioning earlier, they're favored by 11.5 more than the spread. You're looking at 2 touchdowns and a plus.
Yeah.
For Group to come in, get at least 3 points on the field, on the board for them. Give some morale, some support, let them know, hey, we're still in this game. But
exactly.
They might just run away and, any points, 3 points is better than 0.
Exactly. And quite honestly, you're right. Like, it makes sense, especially with someone like Dennis Allen. Like, the only person, I think right now, Saints are injured across the board.
Yeah.
The Group and Juwan Johnson are the only two starters that actually are still holding it down. So I think, Dennis Allen will give Group that level of trust and confidence to be like, hey, man, we're at that 35, that 40-yarder. Yeah. Go kick it. I'd much rather get 3 points than nothing at all.
And then rely on our defense to just get it back and maybe kick another field goal or something like that.
Yeah.
So there you guys have it, our fantasy lineup. I'll just recap it quickly. Yep. Quarterback, Bo Nix. Running back, Javonte Williams. Our wide receiver, Sutton. Our tight end, Juwan Johnson. We got Denver defense and Group as our kicker.
That's it.
Which now leads us from players in fantasy to people finding the end zone.
That's it.
Who's finding the end zone tomorrow, Irshad?
Honestly, I do think that at some point, there's going to be a touchdown to be had, and trending bets like to be anytime touchdown.
Yes. We
still do believe that Alvin Kamara still stands miles and bounds ahead in terms of actual TD probability. Yeah. The sheer notion is what we saw last week. If the Saints are able to march it back down, and if they're able to get a couple of big breaks, and Spencer's able to kind of throw some deep passes, or quite frankly just slow and steady make their way across.
Pass interference.
You have PIs, you have everything.
That's what I feel is going to happen.
I agree. And the reality is, Dennis Allen, why would you take that risk? Yeah. If you're at the 4 or 5 yard line, why would you take a risk?
Who would you trust more to find the end zone?
I wouldn't. Hey, no digs at Spencer.
I would hand him off.
But I would hand it off
4 times if I had to.
And that's what they did last week. Right. They were at the 4 yard line. They just handed it off to Kamara. Just take it in.
There you go. Take your magic.
I wouldn't risk the slant route with Spencer.
For sure. I wouldn't either. But once again, we said the focal point is going to be Kamara.
As a anytime touchdown?
Anytime touchdown scorer. Will he go off? We said, too, Denver defense will be focused on him, poised on him.
Yeah.
But besides from that, we think Kamara is finding the paint tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anytime touchdown scorer, 2.05 times your unit.
Yeah.
If you guys like it, because we do, lock it in there. Which now leads us to the favorite part. Well, my favorite part of the show. My favorite part of the show. Our Thursday Night Football 3-leg parlay for tomorrow. We said this is going to be a tactical, slow game. Who's making the mistake? -3 game. -3 meaning field goal game.
Field goal game.
So there's going to be one field goal that's going to win the game.
Yep.
You can have another field goal which is going to tie the game.
Yeah.
And so, which leads us to another field goal that has to come out to take both teams outright, and somebody has to win if it's 3-3 at the end of it.
Especially if it's going to be a slow-paced game.
Exactly. Any field, any points is better, than 0. So we have our first pick over 2.5 field goals made in this game at 1.44 times your unit. That's the first leg.
That is the first leg.
Which leads us to...
So the second leg that we have...
It's pretty interesting on this one.
This one's an interesting one. So we also decided to take Alvin Kamara.
Yes.
But, as my brother mentioned, we believe that the Broncos are going to shut him down and shut him down quick.
Yep.
That is the only viable threat on the actual Saints at scale.
Yeah.
So yes, maybe pulls up a touchdown, great, no problem. But a 4-yard touchdown is less than what we're going for. And our leg with Alvin Kamara is a rushing and receiving combination
of yards.
For 108.5, which is the current line, and we are calling the under.
Yeah.
At under 108.5 for Alvin Kamara to rush and receive less than 108. That is currently posted at 1.86 times your unit.
There you go.
That's our second leg.
Now the third leg. For anyhow New Orleans to get in this game, Rattler has to throw the football.
He does. He can't keep running it all day.
You can't keep running with Kamara. Hence why we have Kamara going the under.
Yep.
There has to be somebody else who's going to play make. Rattler can run himself, sure, no problem. But he has to throw the football.
Yes.
To march down the field, you got to throw. And who better to throw it to than the player that you've already thrown 3 times last week, are comfortable with, and is the only starter besides Kamara playing in this game, Juwan Johnson. We have Juwan Johnson here to catch 2 or more receptions at 1.2 times your odds.
Yes.
Now you put all 3 together. So 3 field goals in the game. Kamara under 108.5 rushing and receiving yards together.
Yes.
Juwan Johnson to have 2 or more receptions, which will total a unit times of 3.25.
That's pretty solid, I think.
There's no winner here. There's no touchdown. It's pretty simple. Everything we talked about.
Yeah.
According to our picks, our fantasy, the way that this game is going to be played, how we feel it's going to come out.
Yep.
3.25 is a very good value, and the picks we're making here sound so realistic that have a good feeling about this one.
Yeah.
I had a good feeling on Sunday too. Barkley just didn't find the end zone.
Exactly. I mean, we were right 2 out of the 3 legs.
We were there.
And we were there, right? And this is something that we believe because this is irrespective of what you think the actual game is going to be.
Exactly.
Whether you think Denver's going to cover or New Orleans. This is actually something that we believe is going to happen regardless.
Yes.
Over 2.5.
Yeah.
Kamara's going to be held to check.
Yeah.
Juan Johnson pick up 2. 3.25. Lock it in. Like 10 to win 32. Like, come on now.
Like, some change. You take that and then wait on Sunday.
And that's it.
You don't get a little bit, just sprinkle a little bit change. Go buy yourself a nice meal.
Yeah, that's it.
Go out and go eat.
That's it.
Yeah.
Hey man, we start small right here. Slow money is good money.
Yep.
Lock it in 3.25. Because you know what, we'll be watching. We're gonna get bet on it.
Yeah, 100% we are.
I mean, so definitely tail if you want. Pass if you don't. But
hey, wait till Sunday. Do whatever you like to do with it. But we feel confident in this. We're gonna repeat it again for you guys too. Over 2.5 field goals. Kamara under 108.5 rushing and passing all-purpose yards. Juan Johnson 2+ receptions. 3.25 times your unit.
That's it.
Let's go get it.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
And that is the end of our Thursday night football segment for week 7.
Mm-hmm.
But to give you guys an idea of what's to be, make sure you guys tune in because we have some games of interest that we may actually become our games of the week on Saturday for the remaining games of week 7.
Yeah.
So, Alnoor, what's the first game of interest?
First game of interest, I'll go with Houston and Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
You got Houston, who's supposed to have the fire, like the most top offense coming into the NFL. You got Green Bay showing why they are number 1 in offense.
Yeah.
You got Houston coming in from a dome, going out to the cold. As you see what happened with Kyle Murray, this is going to be a fun game to watch. C.J. Stroud walking into Jordan Love's home.
Oh, buddy.
Let's see who's going to be the better one there.
Oh, for sure.
That's going to be a good game to watch.
That's going to be a solid game to watch, for sure. I think another game to watch is KC versus San Francisco.
Yeah, Super Bowl rematch.
Super Bowl rematch. You got the undefeated Chiefs versus the somewhat beat up 49ers. I mean, they're still playing without the main man himself without C-Mac.
Yeah.
And we know Debo's been in and out of injury.
Yeah.
Kittle's kind of faced something. But at the same token, it is also, how we do here, it is the battle of the first place.
Yes.
You have the first place in the AFC West versus the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
They literally do have playoff implications because they are stealing a win from one another in their conference. It's going to be head-to-head. It is going to be the test of records. San Francisco's 2-1. KC's obviously undefeated.
And they want revenge too,
They want revenge. Can they do it without C-Mac? I guess tune in on Saturday. We can get the dissection going.
And there we go. Which leads us to another game of the week we have of interest. We got the New York Jets, newly New York Jets, and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the black and yellow.
Yep.
There was rumors Devontae Adams was going to go to Pittsburgh, join Tomlin, have fun with Russ Wilson and Fields, but it didn't. He went with his buddy, Aaron Rodgers. Hasn't played in 3 weeks. Hasn't seen the playbook. Got traded a couple of days ago and is already expected to play.
Yeah.
How will he produce? Will they just allow Rodgers and Adams to just have a bromance to say, hey, you guys go out and play?
Yeah.
Or will the Steelers defense stop this dynamic duo and say, hey, listen, you're not going to do that in our house? So that's going to be a fun game to watch too. Tune in to see if that's a game of the week.
I agree. And you know how we do with games of the week here at AIM Sports? We love divisional matchups.
Yes, we do.
So we do. There's a game here of interest that is interesting, especially after the win last week. We have the Detroit Lions visiting the Minnesota Vikings. The Lions obviously coming off a commanding lead against quote-unquote America's team, going and visiting the also undefeated Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
And this is a 1-2 matchup. We imagine it's a high-powered matchup. It's going to be Goff versus Darnold. It's going to be Gibbs versus Jones. It's going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown versus Justin Jefferson. Ooh. There's going to be matchups galore across. Tune in to see if this is a game of the week because it definitely is a big divisional matchup.
Yeah, which leads us to another one. Seattle Seahawks and Atlanta Falcons. Surprisingly, the Atlanta Falcons, they've won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, 3 in a row. But they're not really good at home. With Seattle losing 3 in a row, so one streak is going to continue and one streak will be broken. We don't know which one's going to happen.
We don't.
We're going to find out. This is a nice conference game. Another sprinkle, too. Atlanta's 4-0 in their conference. Seattle has yet to win a game in the conference. Forget division. In the conference, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Metcalf, will he get back to the stride? Atlanta is looking like the team. I don't know. This is a low key game that a lot of people may not have interest to, but when you look at it, the stats and the way these teams are playing, this is a big game for both teams to solidify to see, hey, are they going to make the playoffs? Are they going to be leading their division? So this is going to be tough because I think they're tied. Atlanta's tied with Tampa Bay for first.
Yes.
Seattle's tied with San Francisco for first. A win or loss is a make or break to win the division.
And I mean, technically, we're week 7. We're arguably
almost halfway through.
So
like,
you know,
right there.
We're trying to see wild cards starting to form on a little bit here.
Teams trying to find themselves and trying to get a win.
And
Which
I mean, speaking of wild card, I mean, this is going to be a cross conference Monday night prime time. We got Mr. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, against the Buccaneers and Mr. Baker Mayfield himself.
Yep.
We obviously have cross conference AFC North, NFC South, like we just talked about. There could be wild card implications. It's a 1 and 2. Obviously, they're both coming off big wins here. So they're off,
same record too.
Same record. They're off a high. Who's gonna take the dub? Lots to do, lots to talk about. Could this be a game of the week?
Yeah.
Tune in on Saturday and find
This
out.
is going to be fun. But there you guys have it. Our games of interest for Sunday, which closes out this week's episode of AIM Sports, Week 7. Football.
That's it.
Tune in tomorrow to watch this game. Tail us if you can. I, myself, got New Orleans +3. My brother got Denver -3 on the road. Our fantasy lineup is there for us. Our 3-leg parlay is there for us, which I will repeat because I cannot stop repeating it for you guys. Over 2.5 field goals. Kamara, all-purpose yards under 108.5. Juan Johnson, 2 receptions, 3.25. Then we also have our trending bet 2 with Kamara anytime at 2.05 times your unit. And our fantasy is there for you as well. Tune in on Sunday to find out how our fantasy did. But from AIM Sports, we thank you. We love you guys for tuning in.
Appreciate the support.
Yes, bet what you can, bet what you can afford. Follow your sports book. Responsible gambling for sure.
Yeah.
And tune in on Sunday to find out what happens. From AIM Sports, I, myself, Alnoor, and my brother Irshad, we're out. Peace.